I see how many of you are excited about my video about the triangle rock, the back way in. To answer a couple things, there's several sites that we have. Some my friend out there has had before me, before I even went out there and did anything with him. And then there were some that we discovered with the drone. And some of them are on like BLM land, but some of them are about 2 or 3 are on private property, his private property. And the triangle rock thing is actually on his property. So, we're not real concerned about, the Fed's going to get involved. We're not. That's our primary one that we're dealing with actually. So, it doesn't faze us. The other thing I thought, well, if you guys like that, I'm going to show you one, and right off the bat, I'm going to say, well, I'll just do it. Let's just do it. I'll do it live. And I'll just hide myself real quick. So when you see this rock face or whatever, what do you see sticking out on there? There's something clearly visible that is super, super ancient. And not to be funny, but it kind of reminds me of the head and face of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with a headband. But can you see it? It should be blatantly obvious. It's pretty much center bottom of the screen. And it is right here. Right where I'm circling my mouse. Now, there's something actually even more amazing, but way more deteriorated, also on this rock face. And it's not this thing. Do you see it? It is a being, man, whatever, that is sitting, appears to be sitting. It has some type of head gear on, and it has that little tunic or whatever between its legs. And I'm just wondering, do you see it? And I'm going to show you in just a second. All right, so here it is. I'll do a rectangle around the whole thing. It starts up here. That's the headpiece. But just look right in this area. Right here. And you will see this thing that is super, super ancient. Old carving. You can see it's got some kind of headpiece on, helmet thing, whatever. I'm not sure what it is. There's its face. It's got an eyeball here. It's got an eyeball here. And maybe a mouth. It's just so destroyed it's hard to say. But you can clearly see this is a face. But it looks like it's wearing a helmet or just some, head thing. Maybe not a helmet, but some kind of headpiece. It's sitting down, and here's its right leg because it's facing us. You can see the bend. And here's the little tunic thing I'm telling you that's like flopped down in between the legs. Here's his other leg, his left leg. And then it goes right back up here for his body. Now this little thing comes off over here to the right. And again, it's just this thing. And when you look at this, so when I'm out there exploring stuff, if somebody were to, even long time ago, come out here and destroy this, like this church or Spain, oh, we gotta hide all the history. And they saw this and go, oh, we gotta destroy that. When you pick at this or destroy it, it turns this really interesting tan color. Like under here. So if I went here right away and did this, like just right away, started, chisel, boom, you would see it turn into this like tan color. And then it stays that tan color at least for hundreds of years, if not longer, because some of the areas we know the Spanish were at hundreds of years ago. But there's nothing here that says somebody came here to try to destroy this. Even this, it's got a shadow behind it. So this is sticking off this rock face here. And this tree, by the way, to give you an idea of the size, this is these are pinyon pine trees out there. They're very small. They're almost bush-like. So this isn't a great, oh, that's a giant pine tree. No, it's a tiny, tiny pine tree, to tell you the truth. Just to give you an idea. But this is the front. It's fairly smooth, you know, like whatever. Probably because they, in fact, use this to carve. I say they, for a long, long, long time ago. You know, was it the Aztecs? Was it somebody before them? You know, and I don't have the answer. But I've tried online to look for a face like this. Like, you know, I've searched for like Aztec, you know, stone faces. I've searched all kinds of crap online trying to find something that says, oh, that's what this is. And I go, oh, okay, that's from, you know, 2,000 years ago or 500 years ago. I can't find anything. So then I went for this one, especially. This guy sitting, because this face thing with the, it almost has like three little things. 1, 2, 3, like on his head, helmet, whatever this thing is. And then you can tell it's covering his face off to the side here. So whatever it is, it's something that, you know, it's like almost like an open face helmet, you know. And if you look at this kind of coloration over here, and you can kind of see a little bit, it's because the image, the sun was out, and when I panned the camera up to get a better view of this, that sunlight was kind of going into the camera lens. So I've got a video where we didn't zoom in as much, or a picture where we didn't zoom in as much, and that this artifact of, you know, this color thing is not there. That's because of the sun. But I figured you might be interested to see something like this, because it's in a spot that you couldn't, like if you were standing down below and in front of it, you just can't really see it. You look up, it just looks like a mountainside, or you know, rocks on the side of a mountain or whatever, and it just has to be seen from a little distance. But we could zoom in and go, hey, what's that? And then zoom in on it and go, whoa. And so you know, this is near one of our sites, by the way. This is near one of our sites. And I'm trying to figure out what civilization has similar, because you can see it's a head, eyes, eye, nose, mouth. I mean, it's clearly ancient. And then this one again is even, you know, I would say even more. It's probably not necessarily more. It's probably the same time period, but it's super, super withered. And you gotta understand, this area is not an area, at least for history we know, that gets like a lot of rain, snow melt that would, you know, come down and kind of sandpaper stuff down over thousands of years, you know, as the snow melts and things scrape and all that. This is a freaking desert area. It barely gets rain as it is. So for this to be deteriorated to this level in an area that's a desert that gets almost, you know, again, hardly ever any rain, like, this has to be old. And I'm not talking hundreds of years. I mean, in my opinion, this has to be thousands, as far as I'm concerned. And to be fair, what if it's tens of thousands? You know, and this is what it looks like now. Well, what did it look like back then? How, you know, much did this stick out off of this, you know, rock structure? How many inches did this protrude like a statue? You know, it could have been significant. Now there's just, I mean, you just could run your hand across this and maybe barely feel some of this. You know, you got to use a digital camera to even see the dang thing. And that's one thing I can tell you when it comes to like treasure hunting. And I've read this from other people too, but they're like, you know, you gotta go with a digital camera, a nice, decent quality digital camera. It doesn't have to be the best, just modern, decent digital camera, because when you take pictures or video of areas that you're sitting there basically looking at with your eyes, you won't see it stand out. And then you go look at your videos or pictures later, like this, for example. Oh my God, I was right in front of that. I didn't even see that. I had no clue. It just, I don't know what it is about the digital photography that just stuff is so highly detailed. Maybe it just pops out, you know, it pops at you. Kind of like high definition TV. You watch these high def shows, whether it's a underwater thing or whatever, and it's like, oh my God, look at the detail. It's crazy. But in real life, it doesn't even look that good. To be fair, high definition, like super high def 4K TV or something, Stuff doesn't look that good when you're standing in front of it, like I am right now looking at, my desk. But you get a nice big 4K camera and you film it. Whoa, look at those keys pop out of the keyboard. Whoa, zoom into that. Oh my gosh. It's just something about it that makes stuff stick out. And I do have the photo here. Let's see if you guys can see this. Let me pause this. Hang on. Okay, so this image is in honestly a whole different area in New Mexico that we never thought about, like, oh, let's treasure hunt. Like, it was just a freaking beautiful place to be. Like, every time I go to New Mexico, I want to at least stop by for a little while. It takes a little while to get there because it's like dirt road to get into this, area. And there's some campgrounds nearby and stuff, and like, it's just cool. But on the way from one campground to another, you go through this beautiful area. Just incredible. And just to give you an idea of stuff that sticks out, and I had to zoom in for the camera, but you can see these are enormous that were, part of the mountain. And you can see down here's the road. It's actually a dirt road. It may not look like it's a dirt road down here. And it winds around like this way, whatever. This is on the right side when you're going out there. But look at that. It's like a face. Eyes, forehead, big old nose, mouth. It's looking this way. Is it an Indian face? Is it, don't know. I've never been over there. It's extremely steep to get over there to even like poke around and look if there was something interesting there. It's very, very steep country. But it is there. So then there's this other one. So that face I just showed you is like kind of over here to my left. Give you an idea of direction, okay? What does this look like to you? Right here. And I'll zoom in. We'll bring it down. This right here. What does this look like to you? Let's zoom in a little more. Yes, this is a rock structure. So this, to me, is a horse going in this direction to the left. There's one leg, another leg, another leg, another leg. There's his little fluffy tail. This is a saddle, and he's got now it could be a donkey. Could be a donkey, not a horse. But it has a pack of some type in the front. The person would sit here, and then another pack perhaps in the back. Or maybe it's just the front. I'm not real sure. And again, this is a gigantic stone. I mean, this thing, and it's probably part of the mountain, not that it was brought in. It's probably obviously a gigantic, I mean, the size of this thing, I don't even know because I've never been up to it, but it's so far away. It has to be freaking huge, like, it weighs 150 tons or more. It's just gigantic. This little thing in the front, I'm not sure what this is because it's separate. But if it's some kind of mule train, letting the explorers who are now coming back later, because you never know if you lived or died out here in Indian country as a Spaniard, so the king would have to send new ones back from time to time, and they needed to know exactly where to go and what to look for to get there. So what better symbol would you see than a horse or donkey loaded down with some goods heading this way? And the trail, as I mentioned to you, you can still see that road right down here, bottom left corner, is down here. So this trail, I guess, a dirt road. We didn't just build a dirt road, modern man. We would simply take things, whether it was a cutout or some kind of old animal trail, anything that was there previously, and we would just make it bigger and go, okay, here's our new road. So this path has probably been here for a very, very, very long time. And anybody could see this giant thing, and the Spanish were known to take the big spy glasses with them from the ships and stuff on land, and look for things. Go, oh, there's our symbol. Let's keep going that way, And it's just letting you know, go this way. This is the way to the stuff. Blah 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 blah. And so I've been in between those two campgrounds, and when I got to the second one, I saw 3 very interesting trees that I recognize as pointer trees that point you to essentially loot. But they don't just point to the loot. They put you in the area. There's triangulation involved and things like that. And then I went down there and saw some huge boulders. And there's little trails you could go up. It's real nice weather all the time. It's just beautiful. Out in the middle of freaking nowhere. I love being out there. And one day I said, let's kind of follow these up here. And I brought a friend with me from Florida, actually. We went up there. We had some, I think it was when I was going to get my 4-wheelers. And, or was it a different time? What else did I do? I did something else. I had to get the 4-wheelers one time. Then I had to go up there for something else and come back. It was one of those times. And it was just me and him. And because one of the times I was by myself and I didn't go here. But anyways, I'm like, let's go hike this, man. Let's go. So we hike up this thing. And I'm following the big boulders. So I'm going, that one looks like an animal face carved boulder. That probably weighs, 50 tons. And you're like, well, how did that enormous thing get down here? Like, it doesn't appear to have broken off and like fallen. Like, these things look like they're effing placed. Like, along the way, a little bit further, there's one. A little bit further over here, there's one. Then a little bit further over here, there's one. And they're just like, how many of these gigantic things? Some of them weigh more than that, probably 100 tons, for all I know. Like, how did they get there? Mule trains and donkeys, or oxen, just to be used as markers? I don't know about that. But if this was ancient civilizations that did this, and the king of Spain and other kings knew about this, had the secret knowledge, sent his best men over, Freemasons, to go explore, find these old hiding spots, because we know there are vast treasures hidden there from long ago. And we're getting a little broke these days, fighting all these wars back in the 1500s. We need some loot. So go over there, melt it down on site, put the king's symbols and stamps and all this nonsense from Spain and the bars and the coins, and then bring it back and load up the galleons in the Gulf of Mexico, and then come on back. You see, in the east coast of Florida, we have a huge amount of Spanish fleets that have been destroyed through hurricanes right off the coast. You could practically swim to them. There's nothing left besides some places have cannons still, and they're all leased land. You can lease it from other treasure hunters that lease it from the state of Florida, and you can split. It's like a 50-50 split with the state of Florida or something. But anyways, where do they get that gold from? If it's Spanish gold, and that's what it is, because Mel Fisher discovered the Atocha, and you can see it, and not to mention off the east coast of Florida, the other stuff from the 1715 fleet. Where were they getting that from? It was enormous. I'm telling you. Oh, no, they were down in South America, down by Mexico. Maybe. But I think they were a little closer to home than one might imagine. They were all up in what is now the United States. It wasn't anything back then. And New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona, Utah, like other states too, by the way. I mean, a lot of other states. But if you look at the old Spanish Trail, you'll see they went through New Mexico, Texas, what is now Texas, Mexico, New Mexico, all the way up. And, you would think they've passed by a few mountain ranges, at least, on the way up north and way down below. And if they had such amounts of loot, and I have reason to believe they did at times, that they couldn't load the ships big enough, fast enough, what would you do with the loot? Well, we got to hide it. There's not enough ships coming for us and the time it takes us to load these things. We have too much loot, not enough ships. So what are we going to do with it? Well, let's go down to the southern part of these, what is now New Mexico, maybe Texas, Mexico itself, Arizona. Wouldn't be too much farther to get to the Rio Grande, and we have reason to believe that the Rio Grande, back in the day, was at times big enough, wide enough, that big ships could sail all the way up. And there's even some evidence that suggests that happened. So forget the Gulf of Mexico. You could go right up the Rio Grande. Well, now how close are you? So follow the Rio Grande up on any map and look how far it goes up. And just imagine there could be mountains very close to these places, you know, near the river. Boy, wouldn't that be a great stash spot? It's right next to the freaking river. Oh, yeah. We don't have to worry too much about the Indians attacking because it's right there, you know. And when the ship comes in, oh, we got all the firepower we need. So it's a little theory. I can't prove this. But the area that I like searching is close to the Rio Grande. And the old Spanish Trail does go through there. So it's like this mountain that I'm exploring, you know, one of the areas is, in my opinion, probably one of the repositories. That not only was stuff already in there, I think, but if it wasn't, they were putting stuff in there as a repository so that when the ships come, we can load it up. 1680 rolls around. The Spanish get pushed back heavily by the Indians. They had what's called the 1680 Pueblo Revolt. They wiped the Spanish out for a good 30 years or so. Like they were very few in between coming out there. And they kind of recovered and started to come back. Let's make a better peace deal with the Indians. You know, let's not enslave them and cut their feet off when they disobey. Let's try to work with them. You know, but it never really recovered to the level that they, you know, maybe could have. So I'm out there exploring and seeing interesting things with my drone that are way high and stuff. And how do you get there? I don't know. Well, if I had a helicopter, that'd be, oh, I do have a helicopter now. And just coincidentally enough, it's during a period of time, have not been back there, haven't had my license yet, which I do now, to fly it. As of May, I do. And Spirit is gearing me up to go out there with all the tools you need to start getting serious about this. And go find some things that mankind hasn't stepped foot in there maybe in hundreds of years. And I just can't wait to go do this stuff. It's super exciting. But I always told you, me, JC, Dave, we're like, no, we can't, the mountain's not going to let us in. No matter how hard we try to get in, we're not going to get into this thing until the time is right. And I don't know when that is. And we're like, yeah, strange we all feel that. But we also all felt like it's when the big deep state thing gets dealt with. For whatever reason. Why that would attach to what we're trying to do here, we don't know. But it has to get dealt with. So again, I got information from my guides. Soon, we want you to go back to the mountain. We're ready for you. We're going to help you. And they have helped me with some dreams. X practically marks the spot. I mean, on one of them. The other one, they got me really, really close. I pretty much think I know where this one is. Not even in the freaking mountain. And I'm going, whoa, over there? Like, what? And I think one is a Doc Noss hidey hole where he hid some stuff. And then the other one, I'm not 100% sure. I'll find out, I'm supposing, if I can get there and check, you know, and start trying to do some kind of recovery. But, you know, these are other ones that may be on the back burner too, some of these. So it's like, you know, pick one and focus. There's so many different stories and different things. I go, I think this ground hasn't been touched since whoever put the ground here. Like, that means just, you know, a good chance we could dig and get into something. You know, otherwise it would just be open, wouldn't it? Why would you cover it back up if there's nothing in it? So, I don't know. Just want to get out there. And but I wanted to show you that to see if you see what I'm seeing in these giant carvings. The horse and the big face and all that. Just real interesting stuff. I think that's it for now. Take care.